hey, that's my bicycle. And the complainant is kind of confused by this because he received the bicycle from a person named Jay, and he had exclusive possession of that bicycle. And so he's like, what are you talking about? And so the defendant tells him, flip the bike over, and you'll see a weld that shows that this bicycle is mine. And so Abel Esquivel goes to flip the bike over. And while he's looking down to flip the bike over, the defendant, like a coward, waits until Abel Esquivel has his guard down and takes a blunt force object and strikes Abel Esquivel with it multiple times to where there's a trail of blood in the street. And this happened right in front of the defendant's mother's house. Okay, and so Abel crawls on his hands and knees to a home across the street where he's crying out for help. And so that Good Samaritan calls 911 for Abel, and that's how SAPD goes out. And so on this date and time, the defendant is in his mother's house hiding. He doesn't come out and he's not arrested on that day. Now, Abel Esquivel is taken to the hospital. He's taken to University Hospital where he sustained life-altering injuries. He is now blind from one eye because of this attack. Now, on August 17th of 2023, 3 months later, Detective Urban, who's the lead detective in this case, is finally able to catch up with the defendant and conduct an interview with him. And you will be able to hear an inadequate explanation from the defendant about why he did what he did. And I am confident that after you hear all the evidence, you will find him guilty as charged.
All right, defense, any
Defense
opening?
will reserve, Your Honor.
All right, state, you may call your first witness.
The state calls Officer Reese.
All right, if you'll take a seat here, please. Can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, you can lower your hand if you'll have a seat, and if you'll sure you keep your voice up so that everyone can hear, and if you'll state your name for the record and spell your last name.
My name is Jonathan William Reese, last name R-E-E-S-E.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Officer Reese, can you introduce yourself to the jury and let them know how you're?
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Reese. I'm a patrol officer with San Antonio Police Department. I work the West Substation Dog Watch, which are hours from 10:30 to 6:30. I've been employed by the city of San Antonio for about 2.5 years.
Okay, and as an officer with SAPD, are you a certified police officer?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and what kind of training did you have to undergo to become an officer with SAPD?
So we go through our police academy. It's done through our city. It's about a 9-month academy, but it's all TCOL accredited hours.
And is TCOL like an agency that certifies law enforcement officers?
Yes, ma'am, in the state of Texas.
And how long did you say that you've been with SAPD?
A little over 2.5 years now.
Okay, and you've been assigned to the patrol unit for your entire career?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And so I want to turn to the day of May 8th of 2023. Were you employed as a police officer with SAPD and assigned to West Patrol Dog Watch on that day?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And were you in uniform?
I was.
Okay, and were you in a marked patrol unit?
I was.
And were you on patrol on that day?
I was.
And can you just describe to the jury what your duties are as a patrol officer on duty?
My primary duties as a patrol officer is to respond to calls for service. We also do a little bit of proactive work too, which is interdicting with crime before it actually occurs.
And were you dispatched to 257 North Santa Lucia Avenue in San Antonio, Texas, 78237?
Yes.
Do you recall what type of location that
It was a residential.
was? And was that located in Bear County, Texas?
It was.
And do you recall why you were dispatched there?
We were initially dispatched for an assault in progress call.
Okay, and did you write a report that is associated with that call?
Yes, ma'am.
And would you like a copy of that to refresh your memory?
I already have a copy up here with me.
Okay, thank you. Can you tell me the SAPD case number that was assigned to the incident?
Yeah, it's going to be SAPD 23100593.
Okay. And can you describe to the jury the scene that you encountered upon arrival at that address?
Upon arrival, I initially located what appeared to be a wooden handle, something that came from a shovel of some sort, and then a pretty significant initial blood trail that led to the house where I located the victim on the front porch.
Okay, and when you located the victim, what was he doing?
The victim at the time, he was screaming out for help. He kept saying, "Don't let me die." He was on his hands and knees.
Objection, hearsay.
All right. The objection, do you have a response to hearsay?
Incident excited utterance.
All right, if you'll lay the foundation.
So just going back a little bit, so you described that the victim was on his hands and knees. And what was his demeanor without explaining what he said?
He appeared very scared and worried. He also had a lot of blood coming from his face. I initially observed the injury to the front of his face, which was near his left eye. It appeared that he had a laceration. Upon further looking at him, I also observed a laceration to the back of his head.
Okay, and so while on scene, what did you do?
On scene, I initially spoke to the victim. I requested medical aid because of the extent of his injuries. While we were waiting for EMS, I got a story from the victim about what he remembers happening.
Okay. And so did EMS arrive and take custody of the victim from?
They did.
Okay. And I'm gonna first show you a couple of photos. Well, I'm gonna tender to defense for inspection first.
Is that when you prove them up?
All right, and on the day that you made the scene, were you wearing a body worn camera?
Yes.
And were you competent to operate it at that
Yes.
time? Did that capture the scene fairly and accurately?
It could have, yes.
And so I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 1. Have you reviewed this before?
I have.
Okay, and how do you know that this is the same thing that you've reviewed?
I signed my name and badge number on it.
Okay, and so when you viewed this, has it been altered in any way besides to comply with the legal rules?
No.
Okay, and so that's a fair and accurate depiction of what happened from your body worn camera on that date, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and I'm going to show you these photos as well. If you just give me a minute. Now I'm going to show you what's been marked as State's Exhibits 2 through 6. If you can take a look at those, please. Okay, is State's Exhibits 2 through 6 a fair and accurate depiction of the scene on the date of the offense?
Yes.
Okay. Your Honor, at this time, the state moves to enter State's Exhibit number 1 and 2 through 6 inclusive.
Any objection?
Judge, I'd like to take them on board Dyer for a second because I
Yes.
believe these are duplicates of the same things that are on the body
All right, you
camera.
may take the witness on board here.
All right. The still photographs you have are that came off your body camera?
I believe those came off of the detective's photos, sir.
Okay, so you didn't take those pictures?
No, sir.
All right. So you cannot testify exactly what the scene looked like concerning those pictures because you weren't there?
I was there on scene, yes, sir.
Okay, with your body camera.
Yes, sir.
But the separate pictures you did not take.
I did not take the pictures.
I'm gonna object to the pictures, Your Honor, not the body cam.
All right, State's Exhibit number 1 is admitted without objection. In regards to State's Exhibits 2 through 6, do you have an answer to the defense's objection?
My response, Your Honor, is that this officer was present on scene and he's testified that they're a fair and accurate depiction, and so that I believe that they're admissible.
All right, then State's Exhibits 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 will be admitted.
Thank you, Judge. All right. And Your Honor, may I publish State's Exhibit 1?
Yes, do you need the mouse? And ladies and gentlemen, I may move around as well so that I can see what's being presented.
I am playing State's Exhibit number 1, starting at 040720. And since there's no audio, I'm going to ask you a couple of questions. And so, through your investigation, the owners of the home where the victim was located, were they involved in this incident in any way?
They were not involved, no.
Okay. And through your investigation that you conducted, were you able to ascertain any descriptors of a suspect location?
Yes, I was able to get a description of where the suspect came out of from the victim.
Okay. And I guess regarding that location, did you conduct any law enforcement investigation regarding that address?
I did. The victim was able to provide me with a first name of the suspect as well as the description of the home that he came out of.
Okay, and so who is associated with that home through your investigation?
The defendant was.
Yeah, so as a patrol officer, when you have incidents like this, is there any follow-up unit that you have to contact, or what is the process for that?
Yes, so for our shift working overnight, we have our night criminal investigations division. They're kind of an overall detective that we will contact with the initial investigation.
Okay, and so ultimately the charging decision is not up to you as a patrol officer?
No,
Okay, so as a patrol officer, basically you conduct a preliminary investigation and then hand it off to the handling detective, is that correct?
yes.
And so I guess based on the investigation that you conducted on scene, did you have probable cause to believe that an offense had been committed against the victim?
Yes.
And I'm gonna go ahead and one at 0413. And then I want to turn to the photos. So if you can just tell me what is depicted in State's Exhibit number 2.
So number 2, this would be the front porch where I located the victim.
Okay. And State's Exhibit number 3.
Number 3 is the driveway and blood trail that leads up to the front porch where I located the victim.
And then State's Exhibit number 4.
This is again going to be the driveway where I located the victim, coming from the street with the blood trail.
And I'm gonna go a little bit out of order,
Mhm.
but State's Exhibit number 6.
6 is the blood trail leading from the street towards the driveway, along with the handle to the shovel.
Okay, and so that handle, as you see it and as you saw it on scene, is it consistent with a blunt force object?
Yes.
And then State's Exhibit number 5.
Number 5 is the house that the victim described as the suspect's home.
Okay. And just regarding the trail, I mean, can you describe to the jury the pattern that it was going?
So the pattern of the trail, it kind of starts in the middle of the street, directly in front of the house that the victim described as being the suspect's. From that trail, it kind of leads diagonally to where the victim was located at the neighbor's residence.
You pass the witness, sir.
Defense?
Good morning, officer.
Come on, sir.
This occurred at 4 a.m., is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. And it is also correct that the defendant was coming from a bar at that time?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any observation as to whether or not not the defendant, I'm sorry, the complainant came from a bar, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you have any observations whether the complainant was intoxicated?
I was not able to determine if he was intoxicated or not.
You did not observe any physical contact with the complainant, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
So it was basically after the fact you showed up?
I showed up after the incident actually occurred.
All right. No further questions.
All right, any further questions? Is this witness excused or subject for recall?
Excused by the state.
No problem. He can be released.
All right, thank you. You may
Thank you,
step
ma'am.
down. Just make sure if you have any of the exhibits that you leave them there.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. And excuse me, one other thing. Cindy, he doesn't have your microphone, does he?
No, he never.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right, state, call your next witness.
The state called Abel Escobar.
Just have a seat here, sir. Yes. Can you raise your hand for me? You solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, you can lower your hand. Cindy, do you need him to have the microphone on?
Yes.
All right.
Can you put that on your shirt?
Yes.
Yeah, just at the top.
All right, if you'll state your name for the record and make sure that you keep your voice up so everyone can hear.
Abel Esquivel,
All right, state, you may proceed.
Mr. Escobar, how old are you?
I'm 48.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I'm just gonna reposition the mic because I'm having a hard time hearing.
Well,
Not that one,
Oh.
so it's this one right here. You could just
Yes.
talk into
Oh.
that, okay? Thank you. All right, and you currently live in Bear County, Texas,
Yes.
and about how long have you lived in Bear County?
Well, all my life,
Okay, and what area do you live and did you grow up in?
in the west side part of town.
Okay, and you've lived there all your life?
Yes.
All right, and do you have any children?
I have one daughter.
Okay. And where did you go to school here in San Antonio?
I went to Memorial High School.
Now I want to talk to you about May 8th of 2023. Do you recall what you were doing on that day?
That night,
Well, yes, that.
yeah, I was going home on my bike.
Where were you coming?
Cause I used to work at a bar, like they're down the street on Enrique Barrera.
Mhm.
And so I was there and I was waiting outside with, the people that, older ladies that, cause a lot of stuff happens there, right, at the bar, and I just always make sure that they get safe in their cars and go home. So I waited with them out there to almost, I guess it was gonna be 3 o'clock, cause they kind of closed the bar late, like 2:30. So then I was going home, and I was on my way home when this happened.
And do you recall the path of travel you, or, well, let me back up a little bit. So the bar that you were at, what's the name of that bar?
Excuse me?
What's the name of the bar that you were?
Oh,
at?
it's called Los Gallos.
Okay, and so when you were leaving Los Gallos, do you recall the path of travel that you took to get to your home?
Yes.
Okay, can you describe that to the jury?
Well, I went down Enrique Barrera, like going towards town.
Mhm.
And there's a street called San Joaquin, and I made a left, and I went all the way down to there's like a ditch, but they put they made it like a trail where you go bike riding and stuff. So I used to like going through there. So when I went through there, I came up on the other side of North San Felipe, and when I made a right to go to my house, that's when this incident happened.
Okay, And so you're not a stranger to the street at San Felipe, correct?
No, ma'am.
You have family that used to live on that street?
Yes, I still do.
Okay, and you grew up in the area, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so when you were riding, and what were you traveling on when you were going home on San Felipe?
On a bike.
Okay, and do you recall what color that bike was? What kind of bike it was?
It was black, like one of those mountain bikes, and it had like lime green letters that says Schwinn on it.
Okay. And so when you were on San Felipe, did someone try to get your attention or what happened?
Yes,
Okay, and who was that?
Jose.
Okay, and do you see Jose in the courtroom today?
Um,
If you have to stand up, you may.
I said I can't really see that far. Uh,
Okay, just,
mm,
you can have a seat.
okay, I can't.
And so, can you tell me how you knew Jose?
We used to work at the same place.
Okay, and what place was that?
It was Jay's Party Rentals. That's what it's called.
All right. And so when Jose got your attention, can you tell us what he told you?
Well, he just called my name out, and so I turned back, and he just like, "Hey, what are you doing?" Like, said, "Going home," and then that's when he just grabbed the bike and started saying that it was his bike, and uh, we were struggling over the bike, and but at the same time, my phone fell out of the pocket. So when he had flipped the bike over, saying that it had a weld on there or something he had did, and and I saw it, I said, and so when I went to pick up my phone and I was holding the bike, that's when he struck me in the back first, back here.
Okay. And so before he struck you, did he make a demand for you to give the bike to him?
Yes.
Okay. And were you able to see what he struck you with or feel what he was striking you with?
It just felt like a metal object, like when like I don't know if it was a pipe or like a part of a shovel or something. Like
Do you recall how many times he struck you?
3 times, I'm sure, and like on the fourth one, he like barely like got hit on the mouth.
And where did you go after this occurred?
Well, I had fell already in the street, in the middle of the street, and well, I was already losing a lot of blood, and I just remember crawling across the street to the house in front
Mhm.
where he lived, and I was able to bang on the door. I was laying on her porch, and the lady opened the door, and she started freaking out because of all the blood that was there on her porch, and they're the ones that called the cops and the ambulance for me.
Okay. And while you were, so the jury has seen this, but I'm just gonna briefly show you the state's exhibit number 1 and ask you, if you can- well, never mind. While you were there on the porch, do you recall how you were feeling at the time?
Uh, Actually, I thought I was gonna lose my life.
And once you, did the police arrive there and make contact with you?
Yes.
Okay, and where did you go from that house? Did somebody arrive and take you
Oh,
somewhere?
the ambulance got there, EMS.
Okay, and do you recall which hospital you went to?
The University Hospital.
Okay, and how long did you have to stay at University Hospital?
Like 2 days.
And did you receive a diagnosis there at University Hospital?
Yes.
Okay, can you describe the injuries that you sustained from the attack to the jury, please?
The first injury was back here in my head, and the second one was right here on top, right here. So when this opened, and then on the third one, he hit me right on the eye, and that's when I had already fell. And oh, he called me one more time, like in the mouth, and then, well, I fell.
Okay, and so regarding your eye specifically, did you have to have surgeries for your eye?
Yes.
Okay, and ultimately what happened to your eye?
Well, actually, yeah, it came out of the socket, and so my eye was like hanging out, and so the doctor, they said he will try to save it.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
All right, that'll be sustained with regards to what the doctor said.
So you just can't say what the doctor told you, but you can say your experience. And so
Well,
you said it was falling out of the socket, and ultimately, was the doctor able to save it?
my eye's there, but he said I'll never be able to see again.
And did you have medical bills that were associated with your hospital stay?
Yes.
And have you been able to pay those at all?
No, no, ma'am.
Okay.
It was a pretty good amount.
And then just, I'm gonna approach the witness. Okay, Mr. Eskew, I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 7, State's Exhibit number 8, and State's Exhibit number 9. Do you recognize these photos?
Yes.
And have you seen them before?
Um,
Earlier today, maybe?
oh, earlier, yes.
Okay, and are they a fair and accurate depiction of you at the time that they were taken?
Yes.
Tendering to defense for inspection.
Objection.
All right, States Exhibits 7, 8, and 9 are admitted without objection.
Mr. Esquivel, can you tell me what's depicted in State's Exhibit number 7?
Can you repeat the question?
So this photo, State's Exhibit number 7, is that you in the photo?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And do you recall where it was taken? Was it at the
The
hospital?
hospital. Yeah.
Okay, and the shirt that you're wearing, what is that shirt?
That's the bar I was working at, those guys.
Okay, and that's the same Los Gallos that you were at on the night in question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And State's Exhibit number 8, is that a photo of you in the hospital?
Yes.
Okay. And State's Exhibit number 9, is that a photo of the laceration sustained to the back of your head?
Yes.
Okay. And the home that you ended up at where the people called 911 for you, were those individuals involved in the offense in any way?
No.
So they just called 911 for you, correct?
Yes.
But they didn't see anything that occurred?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now I have some questions about the property. So the bike, you said the bike and your cell phone, did you ever recover those?
No.
Okay. And can you tell the jury where you got the bike from?
From me that night when I was riding it home.
Yeah, like when you initially received it, who gave it to you?
Oh, and another friend of ours that we worked at that party rental place,
Okay.
and
And what was that friend's name?
Joey.
Okay. And when you received the bike, was it in good working condition, or did you make some changes to it?
Objection, Judge, leading.
Overruled.
When you received the bike, was it in good working order, or once you received it, did you make some changes or alterations to it to improve it?
I just had to fix the gears on it. It was,
Okay. And do you know how Joey got the bike that he gave you, that Schwinn bike?
yes.
Okay, how is that?
Well, Joey had lent Jose his bike, and he said that Jose left it.
Objection, Your Honor, hearsay.
Sustained.
You can't say what Joey told you, but you can
Okay.
talk about what you have personal knowledge of. So, okay, just going back a little bit, so you said that, what happened with Joey's bike and the defendant?
His bike got ran over.
Whose bike?
Joey's bike.
And who had Joey's bike when it got ran over?
Jose did.
Okay, and so because of that, did Jose owe Joey something?
Well, yeah, he asked for,
Judge, I think we're getting into speculation here.
Sustained.
Okay, and so ultimately, the bike that you received, who gave it to Joey?
Jose did.
Okay. And so, then Joey gave the bike to you, is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so how long had you had that Schwinn bike? Before the,
About 2 months.
okay. And, was the night of the attack, was that the first time that the defendant had seen you with the bike?
No,
Okay. And had you seen the defendant before the attack?
yes,
Do you recall about how many weeks before?
about 2 weeks prior to that.
Okay, and can you tell us about that interaction with the defendant?
Like I was going the same route home and he was outside and he called me like, so we were just talking just like fine, like anything, like nothing.
And so you had seen the defendant before and he had never made any mention to you about him having an issue with you having the bike, is that correct?
No, he didn't have an issue, but he did tell me that he knew that he owed Joey a bike and
Um. Judge, can you approach?
Yes. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give you a short break. I'm going to give you till 10:55. You've heard some evidence in this case. You're not allowed to discuss anything that you've heard. You're not allowed to start deliberating. You're not allowed to do any research. Everything that you need to know about this case has come from inside the courtroom. Does everyone understand? All right, everyone, please, Deputy Laura, if you'll take the jurors. Oh, just leave them. Yes, thank you.
Yes, I'm sorry, Judge.
And sir, if you want to step down, you can step down. We're taking a short break.
okay.
Sense.
And Judge,
Yes,
and I may be speaking out of.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Just so the court can know, could we have a running objection on that without having to object in front of the jury?
yes,
At that time it's coming in.
yes.
Thank you, Judge.
If you'll take the seat again, please, sir.
Same place?
Yes. All right, let's bring the jurors in.
Jurors are present.
Yeah, they renovated that. Yeah, she said always one that messes it up.
All right, State, it's still your witness. You may proceed.
Thank you, Judge. Mr. Esquivel, so I want to jump forward to July of 2023. Is there a picnic that's in your neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay, and what is it, like a grocery store or what is it?
Is this like a convenience store?
Okay, and do you kind of hang out there sometimes?
Yeah.
Okay, and did you, after the assault occurred, did you run into the defendant at the picnic?
Yes.
And where is that picnic located exactly?
It's in between West Commerce and Enrique Barrera.
Okay. And so, do you recall what kind of car did the defendant showed up in?
I don't know the make, but it was just a small little car,
Okay.
like a box little car almost.
Okay. And when you saw the defendant there, did he tell you anything?
Yes.
What did he say?
Well, it was actually in Spanish, but
What did he tell
in
you?
English, it said he was gonna break me.
Okay, and did he call you anything there?
A snitch.
Okay. And do you know why he was doing that?
Because I'm here today.
Um, and so I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 11. And you see your initials right there?
Yes.
Okay, and did you view this video earlier today?
Yes.
Okay, and did it fairly and accurately depict everything that happened on the picnic on that day?
Yes.
Okay, so basically this video shows everything that you observed at the picnic on that day, correct? Okay. I'm tendering to defense for inspection.
Take the witness on board, Your Honor.
Yes,
Did you film this?
No.
Okay. Do you know who filmed this?
It was just surveillance from the picnic.
Judge, I'm going to object. One, he didn't film it, and so he couldn't verify it. And two, based upon the previous objections alleged by the defense as to the running objections on prejudice.
all right. With regards to the objection that he didn't film it, what is your response?
My response, Your Honor, is that he has personal knowledge. He was present and he observed the defendant arrive in the car. He observed, he's watched this, he's authenticated it, and he has testified that it is exactly how the events occurred on the day. And so I believe that he's laid the foundation that this is what we purport it to be. And so I believe that it's admissible under
All right, any other objections, defense?
Nothing further, Judge.
All right, then the defense objection is overruled. State's Exhibit number 11 will be admitted.
Maybe publish your own.
Yes.
Now, Mr. Esquivel, when you were at University Hospital, did a detective with SAPD go and talk to you while you were at the hospital?
Yes,
Okay. So I'm gonna show you what's been marked as State's Exhibit number 10. Did the detective show you that when he met with you at university?
yes.
Okay, and can you tell me what that is?
Joe, what's that?
Okay, and were you able to identify Jose by this photo?
Yes,
And are those your, is that your signature and printed name on the sheet?
yes.
Okay, and does Jose have a nickname that he goes by in the neighborhood?
Yes,
What is that?
malito.
What does that mean in English?
Oh. Like a bad person, you could say, like,
Okay. Um, I'm tendering State's Exhibit number 10 to defense for inspection.
Quick question on board diary, Your Honor.
Yes.
Name of person identified. Who wrote that? The first line?
that's my name.
No, no. My approach.
Yes.
Who wrote that?
Can you put it closer? Sir?
Sure.
The detective, that's his,
Okay. So you didn't write Jose Melito, right? The detective wrote that.
yes,
I'm gonna object, Your Honor, prejudicial. It was done by law enforcement, not by him in the identification.
All right. State.
Judge, the information that is contained on there was relayed to the detective by this witness.
All right. Do you want to lay the foundation for that?
Yes. So, Mr. Esquivel, when the detective met with you at University Hospital, did he show you the photo that is shown here in State's Exhibit number 10?
yes,
Okay, and did you verbally tell him that the photo in State's Exhibit number 10 is Jose, AKA Malito?
yes,
Okay, and then the detective wrote that on
yes,
behalf of you on State's Exhibit number 10, is that correct?
yes,
Okay, and then, but ultimately, this signature right here, that's your signature, correct?
yes,
And so everything that we've talked about, that's true and correct, right?
yes.
Okay,
All right. Defense's objection will be overruled. State's Exhibit number 10 is admitted.
thank you, Judge. We pass the witness.
All right, defense.
Good morning, Mr. Escobar.
Good morning.
On the evening in question, it was around 3 or 4 o'clock that evening that you had the AM, right?
In the morning, yes,
Okay. Where you were at a bar, is that correct?
yes,
And you were drinking, of course, at that bar, right?
yeah,
And you were intoxicated driving home or on the bicycle?
I had a good buzz.
You had a good buzz, yeah, okay. All right. Now, when Mr. Lopez approached you, he told you that was his bicycle, right?
Yes,
Okay. And in fact, he was going to show you the weld of the bicycle where he said he fixed that bike with that weld, right?
yes,
All right. So at that particular time, Mr. Lopez told you that was his bicycle. That was his property, right?
yes,
Okay, and then you struggled with him over that property, is that correct?
yes,
Now, with regard to your cell phone, it fell out of your pocket and that's the last time you saw it, right?
yes,
Okay. You don't know whether it was picked up by somebody else, whether it was left in the street. It just wasn't in your pocket anymore, is that correct?
yes,
Did you ever, well, let me ask you, this. It was a Samsung phone, right? Relatively modern phone, like a 13 or something like that?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay. Did you have a Find Your Phone app on it?
Excuse me?
Did you have an app that finds your phone?
No.
Okay. Now, this picnic that you were at, was there alcohol involved in the picnic also?
No.
Okay, let's go back a little bit. You're intoxicated. Mr. Lopez comes up to you, says, "That's your bike." You start struggling, fighting with him over the bike, right?
Yes.
I was gonna object to asking the answer, the witness has already answered.
So, you did know that that was Mr. Lopez's bike, right?
Used to be, yes.
I'll pass the witness.
We have no further questions, Your Honor.
All right, is this witness excused or subject for recall?
By the state, excuse, Your Honor.
Defense excuses.
All right, you may step down. And just leave any exhibits on the desk, please. All right, state, call your next witness.
The state calls Jay Saldivar.
Oh, do you want to turn the screen back?
Yeah.
Hello. Can you raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God? All right, you can have a seat. And there should be something to put on your lapel there, a little square box. It's so that the court reporter can hear. All right, if you'll state your name for the record, please, and spell your last name.
My name is CSI Jessica Saldivar, JESSICA, and Saldivar, SALDIVAR.
All right, state, you may proceed.
Ms. Saldivar, can you introduce yourself to the jury and let them know how you're currently employed?
Yes, I'm a crime scene investigator for the San Antonio Police Department. I'm a civilian CSI, and I've been employed with them for over 7 years.
Okay. And so do you have any specialized training that you have to undergo to become a crime scene investigator?
Yes, I do. I have over 360 hours of training, in-house training, as well as a bachelor's degree.
Okay. And what are your duties as a crime scene investigator with SAPD?
And my duties as a crime scene investigator is to analyze, document, collect, and preserve evidence from crime scenes.
Okay. And were you employed as a crime scene investigator with SAPD on May 8th, 2023?
I was.
Do you recall what shift you were working?
I believe that was a C shift, so it's overnight or dog watch shift.
Okay. And do you know what hours that runs?
I believe that was our schedule for our 10-hour schedule. So that was about 9 p.m. to 7 in the morning.
Okay. And on that day, were you dispatched to 257 North San Felipe Avenue, San Antonio, Texas, 78237?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And is that located in Bear County, Texas?
I believe so.
Do you recall what type of location that was?
I didn't go into any residences or houses that night. I just believe I was on a street.
Okay, but it's a like residential neighborhood, correct?
Yes, it was.
Okay. And was there any, were you assigned to a call, or did you write a report to reflect what you did on scene that day?
Yes, I did.
Okay, and is that report documented under SAPD case number 231-00593?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and was there any physical evidence seized under SAPD 231-00593?
Yes, there was evidence collected.
Okay, and was that reflected in your report?
Yes, it was.
And so how was that evidence labeled in your report?
My evidence is labeled, do you want me to read it from the report?
Yes.
E1, one wooden stick with grip collected from street.
Okay, and did you bring that evidence to court today at my direction?
Yes, I did.
Right. And so if we look at the outside of what I am marking as state's exhibit number 12, does it have a case number that's assigned to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, and is that a barcode that's on or can you tell me what type of bag this is?
Well, this is a brown paper bag that we use to preserve evidence, and then it has a barcode with the case number from the report.
Okay, and can you go ahead and read that, please?
Yes, it says case number 23100593, item E1.
Okay, and where it says right here, E1, what does that say?
The description is E1, one wooden stick with grip collected from street.
Okay, can you go ahead and open that? And well, on the outside, does it have any identifying marks?
Yes, it does. On the package of the evidence, it does have the barcode with obviously the case number, and it has tape, clear tape, evidence tape, the date of the incident, as well as my initials and badge to show that it's closed evidence.
Okay, and so when you do that, is that to make sure that it's, you know, preserved and that you can testify that that's the same item that you collected on the date of the offense?
Yes.
Okay, if you could go ahead and open it
We have any
down
more.
here.
Um,
And so you'll go ahead and take a look at that for me. Is that the same evidence that you used at the location that I talked about on the offense date?
Yes, it is.
Okay, and so you've seen it before, correct?
Yes, I have.
At the location? And you put your identifying marks on it, correct?
Yes, there's marks on it.
Okay, and does it look the same as it did when you first used it?
I believe so. It was just it was a splintered wooden stick, and it still has the giant splinter in it. So
Okay, and is that consistent with the blunt force object?
I'm not sure about it being blunt force or anything. I just collected it from the scene.
Okay, Your Honor, at this time, we would offer state's exhibit number 12.
No objection.
All right, state's exhibit number 12 is admitted.
Okay, you want to go ahead and pick it up? I'll just take a hold of it.
Do you want the bag as well?
Mhm. And do you recall where you located this object?
It was in the street, but I just collected it from the street and put it in the property room.
We pass the witness, Your Honor.
All right, defense.
Oh, you passed. Is that the only thing you found in the street?
Yes,
You didn't find a metal pipe?
no, sir.
Didn't find a glass bottle? It looks like what, a broom handle or a shovel handle?
Possibly,
Okay.
something with a grip.
In a residential neighborhood, right?
Yes,
There was other debris around that street, wasn't there?
I'm not sure at this time. I didn't take the photographs of at the scene.
All right. So you weren't there when this alleged incident happened, right?
No, I wasn't there.
All right. So you don't know what particular piece of blunt instrument was used allegedly, right?
Yes. you're
All right.
correct.
So you just saw a broken broom handle or shovel handle in the street and picked it up. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. Pass the witness.
Any
No
further?
further questions.
All right, is this witness excused?
By the state, yes, Your Honor.
Excused?
Defense rests.
No,
Oh, I'm sorry.
excused.
What was
Is this
that?
witness excused?
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. All right, you may step down. Thank you. And if you'll just make sure you leave behind any evidence.
Yes.
All right, state, call your next witness. Yes,
Yes.
but we're not on the record. All right, so everyone, we will be back at 1:30.
All right.